she believes will play a very, very significant part in terms of separating the races. Let's pick up from where we left off when we spoke with this last segment, Alana.
Well, for viewers just turning in, I am indeed Alana McLaughlin, born August 27, 2002. I'm 11 years old. I am in 6th grade at John Early Museum Magnet Middle School. And in the previous segment, we talked about my background in education. Then we sort of got into racial segregation. Now, in the first segment, I stated that racial segregation was not only for African Americans, but it was all over. And most people don't really realize this, but it is always happening. It's still happening now. Like, for instance, once I went into a shop and I looked at an expensive piece of jewelry, a necklace, and then a sales lady, she looked at me and she said, "Do you really think you can afford that?" Because, I mean, I wasn't all really done up that day, you know, my hair was crazy, I almost had on pajamas, leggings, and so basically, that still is racial separation, because a lot of people don't really realize that we have overcome that era and that it's no longer African Americans are poor, and I don't even like that mind frame that people use nowadays. Like President Obama. We did expect it, but we never knew that we would have a black president, because there are still people today who crazily think that, oh, black people are ghetto and that they're only good for making food or cleaning, and that they're all bald-headed and they all listen to rap music. I don't think I'm bald-headed. I'm fully black. I have an African-American mother and an African-American father. I don't think I'm bald-headed. I don't really like rap music. So that's a stereotype that I don't like. And then there's a stereotype about Caucasian people who they all drink Starbucks and they're all blonde to like Instagram, this social media website, don't even get me started. But that's crazy. And that's still people using this mind frame of they want to separate people. Like, there's still people today who think Hispanics only eat tacos, or they're poor in a lower class. It's crazy. I mean, because have we not already overcome this? Did Martin Luther King not die for this? Like, he didn't die for this. He died so that we could all think we were all equal and that we could all be equal, because we are. He didn't die for African-American boys, or any boy, for instance, to be walking down the street with their pants at their knees, and this stereotype of the African-Americans are dangerous people who carry guns and knives, and all of them have weave, or it's crazy, and I don't like it, because I actually, when I go down the street or when I see anything really, I always on TV, it's depicted as African-Americans are this way or that way. Then there are the African Americans who think that they're higher than people, and I just think that we're all equal. We're all one, basically. We're all made in the image of God. I don't think that she's higher than him or he's higher than her. The highest up would be God to me, and I may be wrong, but I don't think I am. And so basically, I just want us to all be equal, because we are, and I wish people would see that. Like, I am sick and tired of going on Facebook and seeing someone say, "I saw this girl, she got robbed today by this black girl," and just cut the black out of it, okay? Okay, that black part did not need to be added. Okay, she got robbed. Okay, that could happen anywhere. A Hispanic girl could have robbed her. A white girl could have robbed her. A black girl could have robbed her. What is it about African Americans that make people think that we're all so dangerous, that we all love fried chicken and Kool-Aid? And this is stuff that I've seen on the internet. I once read a blog post on Tumblr that said that African Americans' favorite food, that their favorite meal was Kool-Aid and fried chicken. That is the most stereotypical racist thing I have ever read in my life, besides reading some of these U.S. Supreme Court cases. And now back to now back to racial segregation, because I kind of got off topic. Now, see, as I said in the first segment, that the earliest sign of racial segregation was slavery. Now, if you're not familiar with slavery, slavery was when African Americans were enslaved by Caucasians or people of different races. I'm not going to single white people out, but then they were enslaved by different races and made to work and clean and cook, because that other races thought they were higher up on a financial or on just a regular scale than us African Americans or us people of different races. And so they thought that, hey, we can abuse them or we can batter them and we can just kick them around for our own amusement, because at the time that was something funny. And now, see, when I look back at this, I still see people who think that we're in slavery days. I still see people in my own, not in my community, but like in my own little bubble of world in the places I go. I still see people who think that black people aren't good for anything. And this is stuff that I see on social media, on Facebook, Vine and stuff. And then people want to make jokes out of it, and it's not funny. I mean, like, that would be like you going up to a Jewish person and drawing a swastika on your hand and saying, ha, 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 you're in the Holocaust. Like, that's not funny. You don't joke about that stuff because that's just not funny, basically. And so I'm just trying to get the word out and just tell people that, hey, I mean, just let's move forward instead of going back into the past. I mean, yes, we have to learn about the past to make the future. Like, I wouldn't be preaching right now if I didn't know about Martin Luther King and his struggles and Malcolm X and all. But I still say, let's just not recreate the past because not all of it was pretty beautiful. So how about we recreate a future where we all think we're equal and we love our neighbor instead of, just hating people and thinking that we're better than people because we're all equal. Nobody's better than anybody. We're equal. We're all people. We're all made with the same things. We almost all have hair and eyes. We're all humans. We all have souls and we're people. We're just Homo sapiens.
And so, Lana, in a real sense, all of this information that you have in reference to racial separation and segregation, I know has to have some kind of factual basis behind it, and I think you've talked about some of the factual basis of the beginning of racial separation and et cetera and et cetera. And so when we deal with this final segment, I want you to deal with some of the court cases and some of the things that made for racial separation. So in spite of everything that you've said, there was a system that separated people constitutionally, and that's what we want to try to deal with when we come back, because I think that you've got some information that can give some credit to those individuals who have fought against some of the things that you're trying to fight against now. We can certainly appreciate that, but when we come back, let's look at some of the factual information that you have dealing with racial separation and racial segregation, and then we'll be able to, from that point on, analyze where we are going from this particular point, because I think everything that you've said is exciting and et cetera, but it really does not lay the foundation as to how we move forward. That information that you have will deal with that. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.